or its official name, the Memorial to the Murdered Jews of Europe. Firstly, the basics. Built in 2005 at a cost of 27 million euros. 2,711 of these things here, varying heights to a height of about 4 meters in the middle. Now, one of the most controversial memorials ever built. The first controversy is in the name. That is, the Memorial to the Murdered Jews of Europe, but also the Holocaust Memorial. As we know, the Jewish people were not the only people to be murdered in the Holocaust. 6 million Jews were killed, but what about the 3 million Sinti Roma Gypsies? And all the others, the homosexuals, and the rest of them? Well, the German government has decided the crimes against the Jewish people were so enormous that it requires its own memorial here. And you'll find the other memorials to the other victims of the Holocaust within the Tiergarten there. Were very controversial because the Jewish people were not the only ones to suffer in the Holocaust, and yet they get this enormous site right in the middle of Berlin, and the others are completely left out. The second controversy is that this site, during the Third Reich, where we are now standing, basically this site was a garden. It had absolutely nothing to do with the Holocaust whatsoever. So people said, why not spend 27 million euros on Sachsenhausen concentration camp, where the Holocaust actually occurred? Because if people go to Sachsenhausen concentration camp, they will see the gas chambers, the shooting areas, the horrors of the Holocaust, and they will be so affected by this that they will not allow the crimes to occur again in the future. Pretty good argument. But the argument that won, the reason why it was built here, is because the architect Peter Eisenman said, no, this memorial should be right here in the center of Berlin for those who don't want to think about the Holocaust, for the people who would rather forget about the Holocaust. If you spend it at a Holocaust site like a concentration camp, that won't really increase the number of people made to think about the Holocaust. But here in Berlin, it is unavoidably central, right in the middle. There you have the business district. Here you have the political district, so politicians for hundreds of years will be reminded of the crimes against the Jews by walking past it, along with hundreds and hundreds of tourists as well. Another controversy was, how does this design here, how can it possibly represent the deaths of 6 million people? It's not very clear, is it? People come here and don't even know it's the Holocaust Memorial. Some people assume that it's like a playground. I had 2 Californian guys the other day think it was a paintball area. And yeah, it's not exactly clear. But the architect said, no, it should be this really innovative design, so it draws people towards the memorial. The reason people want to explore here and wander through the avenues. Now, when the architect was asked, what does this mean? He said, I'm not going to tell you. It is up to every single one of you to have your own interpretation when you come here. Some people see this as gravestones. Others see it as soldiers lining up to fight, or death trains lined up. One of the best ones I've heard is that it's actually like a graph of persecution under the Nazis, a steady increase of anti-Semitism. For example, in the pavement, these things are over there, these things are actually buried just below the surface, so you can only see the tops of them. And that is kind of like Germany before Hitler comes to power. Anti-Semitism is already there. Hitler did not create anti-Semitism. It was here in Germany, it was in Britain, it was in France. But when Hitler comes to power, he now has the power of Goebbels, his propaganda machine, to spread his lies and filth about the Holocaust. For example, Goebbels comes to power and says to the German people, the Jews are responsible for the Versailles Treaty. The Jews are responsible for Germany's World War I defeat. The Jews are responsible for economic chaos because they're too greedy. 70% of lawyers and accountants in Berlin, Jewish. That was true, by the way. But what Hitler did not say is that the reason why there had been so many Jews in those professions is because 100 years earlier they had been banned from other professions. These lies continue. He's saying there's an international Jewish conspiracy against the German people. Hitler was not, he didn't hate the Jewish religion. He hated the idea of their race. He said there was a distinctive race of Jewish people. Now, as the anti-Semitism increased, you get milestone moments like the 1935 Nuremberg race laws. 1935, It is now illegal for Jewish people to marry Germans. That is to defend the blood of the German race. And it is illegal for Jewish people to go to bars or concerts with German people. This steadily increases until the next step, 1938, Kristallnacht, Night of the Broken Glass, where 85 synagogues were attacked in Germany, 100 Jewish people beaten to death, and for the first time in German history, being Jewish was enough to get you sent to a concentration camp. Increases again. Absolute height, the final solution. 1942, Hitler decides to murder every single Jew in Europe and successfully kills 6 million of them in death camps in Poland, the most notorious being Auschwitz. Why were these death camps in Poland and not Germany? To keep them secret from the German people. The German people were never supposed to know about the Holocaust. It was a complete secret. On the other side, it comes down today. Again, today, anti-Semitism is still with us in Europe. Just below the surface, these things are attacked with swastikas. People paint them on. Synagogues are attacked. In right-wing political parties are elected. Not so much in Germany, but more in Austria and also Britain, the British National Party, and in France as well. Leader of the British National Party, this political party in Britain, said the Holocaust never happened and all the Jews should be kicked out. And this guy was elected to the European Parliament by the British people. What a glorious country, France, eh? Anyway, now today we're going to walk through the memorial, obviously. Can we meet in 2 minutes on the edge of that red bus, right on the corner, because the next step is I want to take you as where Hitler shot himself at the bunker complex. So a couple of minutes, please, just over there by the red bus.